What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Hardwood Show. It's December 18th, and we've got an 11-game NBA slate to talk about, fresh off the NBA Cup finale. So a little bit of a light week in the association, but returns with a vengeance tonight. 11 games to talk about here on Thursday to break it down, as always, with Rubio Dimes. Rubio, how you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
Oh man, the NBA Cup was a thrill, nothing like it was actually a good game, honestly. The Spurs Knicks, it was fun. I hate 2-game slates though. It's like last night kind of sucked. Even Monday was just really gross in general. And then you got to compete against an NFL game tonight that's for all the marbles in the NFC. Basically, I don't know why they only had 2 games yesterday. Kind of pissed me off a little bit. You have a day to kind of isolate yourself. You get it on primetime TV. ESPN gets the Wednesday games and stuff. No, instead we get 11 games on a Thursday. So, no, we get basketball back, full slate for the first time in what feels like forever. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, a lot of different feel today than the small slates we've had so far. And these to me feel like the classic, like old school NBA slates. It used to be like Wednesday and Friday. There's always would be 12, 14, 15 games. Feels like one of those. Going to have a ton of news. We have had a lot of news drop already, but of course, on this big of a slate, plenty of news we're waiting on, and I'm sure some news that we don't see coming at all. That's just the nature of an 11-game slate in the modern day NBA. We will take it game by game, as we always do, going by the DraftKings order of games. Appreciate everybody in here. Hit the like button while you're here, and we'll go from there. Feel free to throw any questions you have along the way into chat, and we will try to answer those as well. Let's start off in Charlotte, though. We've got the Hawks and the Hornets here. Hawks get the return of Trae Young. He has been out since the end of October, so a month and a half plus, almost 2 months for Trae Young makes his return here. Haven't seen on an injury limitation. I would assume he'll be somewhat limited in this game. Hawks will also be without Kristaps Porzingis, and then Charlotte will be without Trey Mann and Colin Sexton, and waiting on big news, obviously, with LaMelo Ball, who's listed questionable to play in this game. We'll see if he goes. Obviously, his presence or absence, makes a huge difference in this game. But a 240 total, and Atlanta favored by 5 or 6 points here, Rubio. Should be a high-scoring, close game to kick us off, and I think that line probably indicates LaMelo's going to play, but I'm not really sure how much LaMelo affects the spread anyway, given, he's got a lot of good qualities, but I'm not sure he's like a super winning player for all his talents. Anyway, Rubio, yes. Atlanta, Charlotte, what do you got for us?
Yeah, LaMelo got upgraded to probable a few minutes ago, probably about a half hour ago or so. So he'll definitely be in, it looks. And, it's a gross game, right? Like, you got 11 games in the slate. You get the return to Trae Young, a terrible high-usage guard who can't shoot, who thinks he can shoot. Just awful for the Hawks. A big blow that he's back. But, hey, it nerfs all of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, both those guys completely inflated by their roles without Trae Young. They were really good for fantasy. I mean, Null's been a part of some really good winning lineups, and I haven't really been a big fan of him as a player, but man, his high usage can lead to some big fantasy performances. But on the Hawks side, I just can't be interested. Jalen Johnson gets dinged a lot on his distribution here. He's not going to be handling the rock where he can get that 12, 13 assists, performances that we have seen. In reality, I think the only guy who's kind of unaffected is Onyeka Okongwu, just because, he gets it done on the glass. He gets it done through stocks. I don't see his touches going up or down with Trae Young back. So really, Onyeka is the only guy that I would really have any interest in. Trae Young, I agree, complete limit on him because of, even at 9,500, he's probably a little bit too expensive. But man, factor in a minutes limit and everything in between that, it's just the Hawks are going to be a gross team despite a great team total. Just because when someone with this high of a usage comes back, and everyone else is priced up like he's out, it just makes everyone else pretty bad. You flip it over to the Hornets side. Same situation, right? Like, you could literally almost apply exactly what I said about the Hawks. LaMelo Ball is back, a very high usage player who I assume will be a little bit limited. He's been off and on in his, return, right? He kind of returned for a little bit and then kind of was out for a little bit, and I don't think he's going to just walk into, 36 minutes or whatever, right? Like the last he played was early December, right? So it's been a couple weeks even. So yeah, December 5th. So yeah, I could see about 30 minutes for him. If you think he's off a limit, though, I could see the case being made for LaMelo, but the same thing can be said. Brandon Miller gets a slight nerf with him in, Miles Bridges as well, Canuple. I mean, these guys are just slightly overpriced. If I had to pick my favorite player, I mean, DC, I think Brandon Miller is a little bit too expensive at 7,400. Yeah, the ownership.
This game, I mean, we got 11 to talk about. We're not playing anything from this game. I mean, even LaMelo, even if he's uncapped, which he probably won't be.
Yeah.
Look at the game log, man. He's had like one giant game all season. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Outside, Brandon Miller's too high owned. I think it's gross. Yeah, like you said, if I'm making one lineup for tonight, the chance I have someone in this game would be incredibly low. Obviously, I'd probably match the ownership on Yeka and maybe a little lower on Miller and Canuple. That's about it.
Makes sense. We'll keep it moving to the other 7 p.m. Eastern time game. It is the Knicks and the Pacers. This one in Indiana. New York favored by 4.5 points. Looking at a 225 total here. Indiana mostly healthy outside of the long-term absences of Obi Toppin, Halliburton, and Neesmith. So their main guys, Nembhard, Mathurin, Siakam, Jay Huff, all going to be in there. And their prices will kind of stabilize based on their roles in the current iteration of the Pacers team. Knicks, on the other hand, like they're 3/4 of their starting lineup questionable here. Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitch Robinson, Josh Hart, and OG Anunoby all questionable to play. Looks like Brunson is a go and Bridges is a go, but then they're also missing McBride, Landry Shamet. So it's really hard to break down the Knicks, obviously, Rubio, in this one. Who knows? Could be any, 7 or 8 different combinations of players in and out. Could be what it ultimately falls on. So tough one to talk about here, but I guess do your best. Any players stand out in particular if, 1 or 2 of these guys does end up sitting for the Knicks?
Can I hit you with some random trivia? Who leads the NBA in blocks this year?
Jay Huff?
Yes, Jay Huff by a mile.
There's no way I would have got that if we weren't in the
game. Jay Huff leads the NBA in blocks per game. It is actually crazy. I'll continue. DC as device disconnected, but he'll be right back. But to kind of sum up this game for you guys, you got to wait and see, right? Cat, Hart, OG, we get Brunson and McCall in, but man, you could really have some huge minutes that are toward the Knicks way. And Tyler Kolek, they preferred the 2-guard lineup to close that game against San Antonio. For those who are watching the NBA Cup game, what did you see? It was Kolek closing over Bridges. It was interesting because they performed really well with him. I mean, he obviously went off, but unless he's starting, if you see like OG out or Hart out and Kolek gets the nod, you kind of be a little bit interested in, but you want to be tempting with a little bit of caution, right? 11-game slate. Like even Clarkson has been absolutely awful for almost the entire month of December, but obviously had a good game last time out. I don't really love Clarkson, even if he starts, just because you're going to be banking on a lot of scoring volume. I mean, he would be a good value piece. Again, a lot of it is speculation with Hart, with OG. You're going to be kind of a wait and see here. Yabusele, I think, especially with Mitchell Robinson, he's going to be clearly on the limit. Like they definitely do not want to push him above 18 minutes, it feels like. When Mitch Robinson's, even crushing in some of these games, they're kind of very cautious with his minutes. I'm going to go ahead and look at his game log. He only has 1 game north of 22 minutes, 2 games total north of 20 minutes. So I really don't know what they would do if Cat misses, as we're waiting for DC to get back in here. But like if Cat misses, I don't think it's just a slam dunk. Mitch Robinson's going to be the guy who just gets 30 minutes. I think Mitch Robinson himself would be a great play. Don't get me wrong, especially if he was starting at 24, 25 minutes, because he can pay off this tag. And we saw it in 2 minutes in the NBA Cup final, right? We saw it where he got 15 fantasy points, it felt like, with 5 offensive rebounds, a couple dimes, a big block. The upside with him, if he's getting 24 minutes, would be more than worth it. But Yabusele could be the guy who starts. I mean, I think for anyone who played DFS last year, right, Yabusele was, pretty consistently a good click, even at 5 or 6K. You're getting him a stone min here. Again, it would take him to start, has been out of the rotation in recent times. I think he played in the semifinal of the NBA Cup game, got like 4 minutes, and then did nothing with them. So, I mean, again, wait and see. React to this news. We'll have this news in the Discord without a doubt. You flip it over to the Pacers side. It's no one projecting well, right? I think Isaiah Jackson's the only guy projecting for more than 5x. I think center is going to be absolutely loaded. I don't want to do it on. I don't want to waste the center spot on a backup center who is kind of capped with 18 minutes, 19 minutes, especially with Jay Huff playing as well as he is. So again, this is a perfect wait and see slate. Like the Knicks would probably be my only interesting team in these first 2 games because we got a bunch of games locking at 8 and 9 o'clock. And honestly, I'd rather have exposure to those games. So it might seem like I'm off on these games unless those Knicks are out. But I mean, that's just reality of the slate, DC.
Yeah, I had to take a momentary break. I had to drive to the nearest sports book to go bet on Jay Huff, Defensive Player of the Year. So you nailed it, Ryan Cox. I love it. No, just my camera randomly shut off, so I had to restart. But we're back. I assume Knicks, you're kind of just wait and see scenario. Ruby, I didn't hear you.
Yep. Wait and see. I think Yabusele, Kolek, or Clarkson. I mean, hell, there's probably a world where all 3 start even, but Mitch Robinson is not just a lock for more than 24 minutes. It's basically the way I was saying it. Even if he starts, you could have value with these other bench pieces.
We'll keep it moving to Miami and Brooklyn, the lone 7:30 Eastern time game. Miami favored by 7.5 in this one, 228 total for the Nets. Cam Thomas remains out, been out for a while. Pretty much everyone else, though, is a go. So mostly healthy team here for the Nets. Miami, though, will be without key piece Tyler Hero, and then bench pieces Pell Larson and Nikola Jovic will also miss this game. Obviously, great matchup for Miami here, and no Hero kind of boosts everybody. I got a lot of interest in Miami here. I think Bam Adebayo leads the way for me, kind of becomes the offensive fulcrum, right, for Miami with no Tyler Hero on the floor. They run things through him. And on a night where I'm pretty sure Miami's going to be efficient offensively, you got to think Bam is kind of involved in everything, can obviously clean up on the defensive stats here too. So I love Bam. I do like Wiggins, Powell, and especially Jaime Jaquez. We love playing him when Tyler Hero's out, gets more minutes, gets a bigger role. Still 6K, someone I'm very interested in. Those 4 guys really, I think, are good plays. A little bit of interest in a cheap Davion Mitchell too, but he's more of a floor play than a ceiling play in my eyes. And then the Brooklyn side, some interest here. I do like the guards a little bit. Igor Demon and I think Terrence Mann is a decent play. And then, of course, Michael Porter Jr., coming off a rough game, but man, he had been just lights out prior to that game against Milwaukee. And if you're playing a bunch of Heat, if you have 2-3 Heat on your team, like I might on my main team, Rubio, Porter Jr. is the one that keeps us close, right? By making threes, get the full minutes for Miami. So I'm looking at this game closely, Miami and Brooklyn. What do you see here?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, our guy Michael Porter Jr. continues to be underprojected a little bit just for what his upside can bring. Like before last game, he had like 5 or 6 straight games of 30-plus real scoring, right? So it's just crazy, and it's a fast pace. I mean, that's the one thing that we just kind of have to accept with Miami. They're one of the fastest teams in the league. You're going to get a good game environment, which anyone who's played DFS over the last 8 years is the complete opposite of what it has been, right? So it's usually a bad spot to target. Now it's a good spot to target. And I agree with you. You're going to have, good Heat pieces against the Brooklyn team that honestly hasn't been really that good defensively at all either. I'm with you on Bam. Here, Norman Powell was super chalk on like that Magic slate where they were in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. And then no one played him last game, it felt. And sure enough, he put up an absolute dud. But man, he chucks. I mean, he feels like he's the only guy who can score. And Fontecchio started for Hero last game too. Jovic, he left the game with an air cast. Is that what it was? Like on his arm? I think he probably broke his arm there. So you're going to have minutes in that front court just slightly freed up for guys like Fontecchio, Jaquez. I think with Jaquez just off the bench, you're kind of capped at that 32-minute mark. Like, it's really hard for him to get off the bench for more than like, 6 minutes or so, in each half. And all of a sudden you're just kind of capped at that thing, which he's a great talent. It's just like, can he get me more than 32 minutes, right? That's the only thing that I run into him. It's just the minutes are just slightly capped. But I'm with you. Played decent last game, 31 minutes, good enough. Fontecchio is going to be a decent value at 4,200. No one's going to really be on him this week, or this game, after a complete dud last game. So he can chuck and get you 26, 27 fantasy points, and it wouldn't shock you at all. But Powell and Bam would definitely be my top two guys. I mean, Bam just does everything, man. This is a good Bam spot too. Like, yeah, I could see him kind of dishing it out too, where all of a sudden you just see like 5 assists, gets his 12 rebounds and 20 points. I mean, we saw that 20, 10, and 2 last game in 33 minutes. If we see 36 minutes, which we have seen in some games, 40 minutes against the Orlando Magic just a couple weeks ago, and the upside is really much there. I think MPJ and Claxton are like the only two nets that I really have interest in. Like Clowney's at that price point now where you can't really trust him, can't really distrust him. The Danny Wolf thing was a little bit surprising to me with the ownership projecting a little bit high. I mean, I get that he's good talent, but some of these rookies are just going to be so incredibly up and down throughout the rookie year. And yeah, he's going to have a floor on him some games. It's not a bad player at all. I mean, he's got great touch. You can shoot, you can pop. It's just 4,400 at 10, 15% probably. It's just a little bit gross for me. But yeah, MPJ, Bam, Powell, and Claxton, and then I like the Heat forwards, like you said, as secondary pieces.
All right, let's move to the next game. The Spurs and the Wizards. This one in San Antonio. Potential blowout spot here. San Antonio favored by 15.5, 241 total. So Spurs projected to put up 128 points, something like that, in this game. Monster team total for them. We just good news that OG Anunoby will play. So I'm kind of hoping some of those Knicks are in. So
we just got them all. We got Cat out, Hart out, Mitch Robinson out, OG in. So if you wanted to circle back to the Knicks real quick, just to give people a short, I can give a 30-second thing.
Go quick on the Knicks, and then we'll keep it moving.
Yeah. So here's what I think happens, right? It's going to be Brunson. I think one of Kolek and Clarkson start. Then you have your traditional Bridges, Anunoby. And then I think it's either going to be Hukporti, right? Which hasn't he started a game already this season? I think a couple times, or it might have been in the preseason or something. But and then I could easily see Yabusele being a very sneaky value play at this moment, right? His projection could change, but I could definitely see a 30-minute game for Yabusele here, as gross as it is. But yeah, that's my only thing. I think they start one of Kolek, Clarkson, and then Yabusele or Hukporti.
Probably going to have to get a Nick or two on your team at this point with those two guys out. So yeah, we'll obviously have that in the Discord and final calls with cores and everything else as we get closer to lock. Still 2 hours to go before lock. Let's jump back to the Spurs and the Wizards. Obviously, Spurs have seen the recent return of Wembanyama. Played 20 minutes, 21 minutes, his first game back against OKC in the Cup final. That bumped to 25 against the Knicks. Didn't play, at least for him, particularly awesome in either game, at least fantasy-wise. But 10.8K, the price has come down a little bit from where it was. I don't know if you've seen a minute limit. I assume it's closer to 30 after going 21, 25, but maybe you have different information there. And then pretty much everything else in this game is healthy. The Spurs are, at least on the Spurs side, the Spurs, super deep, talented team right now. They are legit, I think, Rubio. Washington will be without Kispert and Middleton. Looks like everybody else pretty much should be good to go. Talk to us, Rubio, Spurs, and Wizards here.
Yeah, so let's focus on the Spurs real quick. You're going to have an incredibly deep rotation. I don't think they push Wemby beyond that 25-minute mark because that was an NBA Cup final, right? Like they were trying to push for it a little bit. They said it was very much going to look like it did in game one. 21 minutes the first game, 25 minutes the second game. I think they're just going to be uber cautious with him. I think if anything, it would go up to 27 or 20. I just don't think they're going to push him. You'll know, though, if he's coming off the bench, right, you'll know that limit. But either way, no matter what, I'm not touching him in fantasy tonight because of the huge slate, very high price tag, and a clear minutes limit, right? It would shock me if he got anything north of 30. The thing with Castle's a baller, man. God, his assist props were super low last game and absolutely crushed it. What was it, 12 dimes in that game against the Knicks? Fox is just someone I'm going to stay away from with Castle and Harper both healthy. Fox had a really good first half, amazing first half, and then died in the second half. yeah, I mean, it's just tough to get really excited. Like even with like Dylan Harper, that ownership's probably like really, really high and look great with stroking the three ball, getting to the rim. When he gets the ball, he wants to score, which I love to see for fantasy. But man, you just got so many bodies. Like, would it shock you if Harper just got like 22 minutes and just kind of middled a performance for like 21 fantasy points? It's
A little bit, just because he's such a young player. I think they wanted to develop him kind of no matter what.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing, though, is that they're so deep, right? Where, last game crushed DC 21-7. Now he's almost 5K. He's going to give a lot of ownership. Kind of out on that right now, where it's just like, can he consistently get me 30? I think the answer is no. Right? I just think the answer is no. And if someone's going to come in that high owned with it's a limited role. I mean, at the end of the day, he's option number 4 on the court if he's on the same court as Fox, Harper, Castle, or Fox, Castle, and Wemby. And that's not even including Vassell, whose specialty is, as well as just scoring the ball and playing defense. So just kind of out in the Harper chalk a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Castle's going to be the only guy really on the Spurs that I like, DC. I'm trying to save time because we got so many more games to talk about.
Yeah.
You flip it over to the Wizards. Sarr's back. So what's the same situation that we were talking about with, the first game that we did was the Hawks and Hornets. Well, Sarr's a pretty damn good player. I mean, I really like him and his upside on a game-to-game basis, but I think he'll be limited. I think McCollum and George and all these high usage guys are going to take a little bit of a dink, and George has been pretty bad. I'll be quite honest. So I was glazing George's, the first month of the season. This last month has been dreadful for the most part. Bub Carrington's looked good, but 5,300 is a little tall. Just Justin Champagny. I mean, going against his brother. I mean, we didn't mention that. We got the Champagny bros, bro. We get a nice little matchup here, but. Game-to-game basis, usually just super low on him, but he's been hitting the glass over the last couple of games, which is good to see. I would take my, again, 24% ownership just feels incredibly high. So I kind of want to see where the dust settles, but, I mean, I think him and Harper are very much profiling the same for me, where it's just like, will they get you 30 most of the time? And I think you need 30 from guys that are 5K on an 11-game slate to get the job done.
Yeah, that all makes sense to me. I think I still have maybe a little more interest in Harper than you do, but it is the ownership that would steer me away, right? I do think he's on paper a good value at 4,700, and I really like this game. Love the matchup, but you're right. The ownership on an 11-game slate, you got to be careful playing 20, 30% on guys on this type of slate, especially when he's not in, other than the matchup, a better spot than he would normally be in. So I'll be careful with that ownership-wise. And then I'm going to keep an eye on the Wemby ownership and potential start, too. If he is in the starting lineup, if they do say he's up to 30 minutes and the ownership stays low, I mean, he can do it still in 28 minutes for sure. So I might be buying in on Wemby if looks like most people aren't, but I'll kind of almost let the field dictate that decision for me a little bit. Toronto and Milwaukee up next. Low total in this one. I believe lowest total on the slate, sitting around 219. Toronto favored by 4. Toronto will still be without RJ Barrett, but they've got probably everybody else. Barnes, Quickly, and Ingram will all be in, and then Jakob Poeltl, questionable to play. Do kind of think he is likely to go, but we'll see. He did get a midday downgrade. Milwaukee still without Giannis, has seen the return and frankly kind of emergence of Kevin Porter Jr., who's been pretty damn good for them. Up to 8,200 though, so you're certainly paying for it. Also got, of course, Kuzma, although he's questionable, Bobby Portis, and Miles Turner. So this is kind of an ugly game, Rubio. Obviously, the total reflects that. I don't see a lot here. Scotty Barnes, I think, is my favorite play, but there's a lot of good spends. I don't know if I'll get to them. Overall, pretty low interest in this game. What do you see between the Raptors and the Bucks here?
Toronto pisses me off. Like on a game-to-game basis, Toronto just pisses me off. I hate them. I love Quickly, former UK guard and stuff. Ingram can get hot and then kind of fade away, but I'm kind of on the fence here about Scotty Barnes if he's good enough to be even the second best player in the team and have success in the playoffs. And honestly, you saw it in the NBA Cup, man. He was just absolutely awful in that game against the Knicks, and just feels like his upside is like a little bit limited until he learns how to shoot really efficiently. And he really can't create his own shot all that well unless you just drive him to the rock or drive him to the rim. And just feels like a super poor man's Giannis Antetokounmpo, like just super poor. Like,
without the athletic explosion too.
Yeah, exactly. And like, Ingram kind of turned back the clock in that NBA Cup game, just wasn't enough. And that was without Quickly in that one. Shed had a really good game against the Heat the other day, like really good. But you're 4,700 there is a little bit too high. It's just I know it feels like I'm talking like where I hate this game, I hate this game, I hate this game. But man, I don't like the Toronto pieces all that much. My favorite team by far is going to be the Knicks with all that news that we just got. But man, you look at Toronto and Ingram's my favorite guy, and then it's Quickly and Barnes kind of in that second tier. I mean, if Pirtle were to miss, with his questionable tag, I mean, I could be talking to Sandro without a doubt, right? He'd be one of the better values immediately on the slate. But, we have seen funky stuff with his minutes, but I mean, Sandro's power forward eligible too. So if Pirtle misses, I mean, Sandro would be the absolute nut play. It just looks because, it's not that he just isolated the center only. I've been kind of careful with the center only pieces because you could easily have, a 6X get beat out by an 8X in these large field tournaments. But with that power forward eligibility goes a mile. KPJ, clearly the alpha dog. I mean, did you see his last game? Do you see Kevin Porter Jr.? He had a 5-3-3-3 to start out the game. All right. You're thinking, 17 fantasy points in 6 minutes. Oh, that's awesome. He ended the game with a 5-3-7-4. It was just, all he did was get 4 more assists and a steal. And he played like 24 minutes after that. It was one of the worst performances I've seen. He shot 2 for 13. That doesn't mean I'm out on him. It means I'm back in, though. You get high usage. You get a guy who's going to dish the rock out, who's horny for triple doubles. I mean, there's just no way else to explain it. I mean, that dude hounds for the triple double a little bit. And he hunted it down against the Celtics, got an 18, 10, and 13 triple double on a game-to-game basis. Without Giannis, it's always going to be in the cards. Last 2 games, I mean, it was a slight blowout against the Celtics, but 36, 37 minutes. I think Saber has him projected for like mid 30s or low 30s. I could easily see that 32 minutes becoming 36 because we have seen 36 and 37 minutes for him. It's funny. I like Kuzma in the game that he went off, and then like all of a sudden the next game he's super chalk. It's like, you weren't playing him all year for a reason. Then the field like automatically sees one good game and it gets attracted to him. It's still Kyle Kuzma. You want to play him when he's unowned. You don't want to play him when he's owned. Right now, under 10%, I could kind of see it. Outside of Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins, no one else I can trust on a game-to-game basis. If AJ Green's out, I've been clicking Gary Trent Jr. the last couple of games. The minutes are there. Performances have been so-so. But, I mean, if Green's out, I'll go back to Trent for sure.
All right. That does Toronto and Milwaukee, not the most exciting one there. I think next one, going to be better, though. Houston and the New Orleans Pelicans. This one has a 236 total, so sizable total here. Houston does have, pretty much their entire roster good to go. They even may get Tari Eason back after a long absence as well. Will further help that athletic team. Good matchup here, I think, for Houston against the Pelicans, who are themselves pretty much healthy outside of the long-term absence of DeJounte Murray. Did get Jordan Poole back, and, of course, Zion will play his second game after a 2-week absence. Still waiting on those ceiling games for Zion. They're not really showing up. He is 8K. I just can't click him right now. I got to see it first, Rubio. What are you doing with the Rockets and the Pelicans here?
It's a weird spot. I think the Pelicans are a little bit overpriced. You see Queen with Zion and Poole back. I love Fears. I love his game. I love everything around it. But with Poole back, you're not looking at extensive minutes. I think like 26 minutes is about right that Saber has him at, because even when he was playing well the other day, Poole still saw like 14 first half minutes, and I think Fears only saw 13 first half minutes. It was a little bit weird. They barely overlapped too, and it's a gross situation. I think you kind of feel a little bit excited about New Orleans' future with some of these rookies, because I think Fears and Queen are awesome. They clearly have pieces that, Jordan Poole, why the hell is he on your team, right? What was the point of that, right? They had no idea what they were doing this offseason. You're kind of starting to see it hurt the rookies' playing time at this moment. Sadiq Bey has looked good, but it's just a hodgepodge of some of the worst plays in the slate. If you want the short answer, I'm not clicking a single Pelican tonight, right? That's not even a hot take, too.
The one guy I like a little bit is Trey Murphy, but only if I'm going a couple Rockets on the other side.
That's the thing. It's like Trey Murphy, I agree. He would probably be the only guy who could sniff a lineup. But last game they played, it was against the Bulls, 114-104, and Trey Murphy was the only guy north of 30 minutes. So you're exactly right. And that's with Zion back. And, we see DC, his camera got disconnected. He'll be back here in a moment too. But, New Orleans, outside of Trey Murphy, you're not clicking on a damn soul. And Trey Murphy, you're probably not clicking on much at 7-9. You flip it over to Houston. Their prices are fine. Look, these last 4 or 5 games that we talked about are going to be much better for fantasy. But this game is also, there's just not a whole lot of ownership on it. Sengun had a great game last time out against the Nuggets, I should say. The thing with Sengun is just, with all these guys in, he's going to get the touches. Like, he had a 33, 10, and 10. The game before that, 22, 15, and 5. You also get, the minutes are pretty safe, 36 minutes or so. I like the Rockets for the most part. We get Kevin Durant's probably a little bit overpriced. Amen Thompson, same way. But Pelicans don't play defense. They really want to play fast. You could easily see 120 up on the board like Houston has, even 130. So I think KD, Sengun, Thompson are all fine. Jabari Smith is a little bit overpriced. Reed Shepherd, look, you're clicking him on an 11-game slate, and it's pretty tough. So, the big 3 for Houston. Hope for New Orleans to keep it close. You don't have to run it back with a single piece. They just got so many dudes that Sengun would probably be exactly power forward eligibility too. So that's the big thing. Javier, you mentioned Sar. I think Sar definitely wanted to be back for this one. It's just the minutes limit that'll give you. And I agree. I think the pool thing, hopefully they bait a contender into maybe swiping him for, even a second round pick they would die for. But we flip it over to the last 8 o'clock game here when DC will join back momentarily. But OKC has been probably one of the biggest wagons in the NBA. But you saw DC. I'm going to go off on a slight tangent here. OKC losing that game, people are shocked. Oh my God. I thought there was a better chance they go 16-0 in the play. Did they not go to 7 against this inferior Pacers team? Did they not go to 7 against the Nuggets team? This is a team when a game matters. They're just mid. And I say that they won a championship, right? So they got such a damn good team. But let's not act like SGA is Kobe or some shit. The dude is a fine player. Jalen's a fine player. Chet's a fine player, but they don't have a top 5 player in basketball. And of course, it didn't shock me that they lost to the Spurs because they didn't have the best player on the court that game. Wemby was the best player in the court. They didn't have the best player in the court against the Pacers. Right? They didn't have the best player in the court against the Nuggets. The reality is, OKC is a great regular season team, but when the playoffs come, I'm going against OKC when they play a good team in the playoffs. That's for sure. As far as fantasy goes in this one, like I said, the 9 o'clock games, the 8:30 game too, those are going to be a little bit better. All right. I don't really want to play anyone in OKC because the chances are it's a blowout against the Clippers are pretty heavy, especially without Harden, who's been kind of backpacking this Clippers offense a little bit. But man, unless it's Jalen or SGA where you're hoping for maybe a close game, I don't got any interest in them in DC. And then I flip it over to the Clippers, with Harden, missing out on this one because, Harden's out. You got obviously, Bogdan, or could it be Kobe Sanders? If Bogey starts, I'll have him. Kawhi too. You're just hoping for this game to stay close. Because if it stays close, Kawhi is one of the better plays in the slate. Bogey's one of the better plays in the slate. You could even make the case that Zubac could get a little bit more, physical down low. But outside of that, man, can this game stay close, DC?
I'm not. I'm going to be hoping it's not and fading it for the most part. No chance in hell I'm playing Bogdanovich at 4,400. I'll tell you that right now. There's no possible configuration of early outcomes or late swap. I won't do it, Rubio. I will not play Bogdanovich. I'll leave him to you. And I don't know, Kawhi.
I think he's one of the best plays in the slate there at DC. This ownership feels way wrong for what it's worth. Like, if he were to get announced as a starter, DC, who else other than Kawhi Leonard can create their own shot? It's no one. He's got to chuck 15 times. It's like he's going to play.
They're going to get doors blown off him.
And I agree, right? I agree, right? But 25 minutes before a blowout for Bogey is probably in the cards. 25 minutes for Harper, 25 minutes for Champagny, and both those guys were 20 times as owned as him. Like I said, I think it'll probably get closer to 10% or whatever. But, man, you're getting the same minutes if it's a blowout, and you're getting way more if it's not.
Yeah, you have fun with your Bogdanovich. I won't even rebuttal. But I'm fading the Clippers. I'm not playing Kawhi. The Thunder have so many freaking good wing defenders for both Boggy and Kawhi Leonard. I just don't see this game staying close. And that's a lot of shade you're throwing at SGA and OKC there, by the way, Rubio. What
Absolutely.
are they? 27-2, coming off a championship, and you're saying SGA is not a top 5 player in the league. You're saying they're a regular season only.
I don't even think that's a hot take. You know what's a hot take? Because all these normies want to say, "Oh, look at SGA. He got the best record." No, I'll take Jokic over him. I'll take Wemby over him. I'll take Giannis over him. Hell, before he blew his Achilles out, Halliburton was definitely a better leader, a better player. I'll say that too. I mean, that's a little hot take. That might be a little bit too hot. I'll take Curry over him. I'll take KD over him. That's it. You replace any of those guys with, you take SGA out and replace any of those guys in the Thunder. They waltz to the championship last year. They don't go to 7 once. All right. You got a mid defender, a guy who kind of vanishes in the playoffs because he can't do the rinky dink, like, oh, I drew a foul. The game gets a little more physical. You saw it last game. He can't shoot 20 free throws a game. Oh, he's not that guy. He's not that guy.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree. I'll take SGA certainly over the current versions of Steph and KD, and I'll take him over prime Giannis too. So there you go. Yeah, Rubio sniffing glue over there.
I knew. It pisses people off. I like SGA, a UK guy, right? Kentucky, Calipari, but all right, you know what? People want to overrate him. Go ahead and overrate him.
I'm not pissed off. I just need to point out to the people how wrong you are. But we'll move on to Detroit and Dallas. Detroit favored by 7.5 in this one, 228 total. Several players questionable for Dallas, including Anthony Davis, most importantly, but also Najee Marshall, D'Angelo Russell, and Brandon Williams, all questionable to play. We've seen the emergence of Cooper Flagg. I got on him late in that last game, put up 64 for me against Utah. That was fun. And then Detroit side, mostly healthy here. We'll have the pick and roll combo of Cunningham and Jalen Duren, which I think is going to eat in this game. And then, pretty much normal starters for Detroit. Oscar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Duncan Robinson should round out the starting 5. Obviously waiting on the Dallas news, Rubio, but what do you see in this game with what we have now?
You're seeing Cooper Flagg figure it out live, right? Like, you're just seeing him click. And it's great to see because you saw it at Duke. I mean, he's still only 18 years old. I mean, like, this dude turns 19 in 3 days. So, like, there are people, oh, man, he had a rough start, had a rough go. And then all of a sudden you just look at the past, 2 weeks especially, 42-7-6, 22-5-8. 19-5-3, 16-2-2, 22-6-2, 24-8-2. Like, starting to piece together. In the month of December alone, you got 24-5-4, and that's including a stock in each category too. So, like, dude is just figuring it out. And 7,500, like, I'm going to go back to it. His projection's not going to pop. And DC, like, last game, it was on that slate. What was it? It was a weird 4-gamer or something where all the lock times are split up. And he came in super chalk. And so did Nembhard. Ryan Nembhard did too. And it's one of those games where it's not going to project well until one of these guys, like AD got ruled out. Brandon Williams got ruled out. Najee Marshall kind of vanished last game. He's questionable for this one. But once these guys' status gets changed, like, Cooper Flagg's ownership could skyrocket to where it's probably going to be closer to 30 than it is 0. I mean, the fact that we got him at 0 right now is a little bit troubling because he's been so hot either way with AD in or out. If AD's in too, 9,100 is a little bit cheap. Like, I got interest in this Dallas team, but again, it's a wait and see, right? If we get this news early, I kind of hope we get this news early. They kind of came out with it a little bit late, like it was like an hour before their game lock, so I'm not expecting it to come too early. The fact that this game is 8:30 though, DC, is like good because at least he'll get the 8 o'clock wave. Hopefully, you get that news for the 8 o'clock wave too. Like I said, we're not too interested in the 7 o'clock games. We already got the Knicks. That's the best team to target on the slate, but I mean, it's not like we're going to have interest in the Pacers, Atlanta, and Charlotte. So the fact that we can probably get the news is great. If AD's out, Cooper Flagg's going to be one of my favorite plays. PJ Washington as well. Hope they keep it, tight against Detroit at home, which I kind of expect they do. Nembhard, if Brandon Williams is out, like the Nembhard minutes are, kind of fluid for the most part, right? Like, on a game-to-game basis, it could change. You had 21, 23, and 24 in the 3 games prior. You had 38, 33 before overtime last game. If Brandon Williams is out, I'll definitely have interest in him. Again, a lot of wait and see, but the Dallas Mavericks definitely have my attention. You flip it over to the Pistons. Jaden Ivey's off that minutes limit, so 3,400 for him is not much of of a bad thing. 20 minutes for him at 3,400, where he's going to be coming off the bench and chucking a little bit. Like, that's a value piece where if the news broke the wrong way tonight, I could have a lot of Jaden Ivey, right? Like, we already had to break the right way with the Knicks, but Ivey could definitely be a guy where it's just a filler piece where if he got you 22 fantasy points, he'd be looking really nice. Outside of Cade Cunningham, though, like Tobias Harris, like you talk about a play that just, oh God, it just, you're not excited to do it, right? But he's been serviceable. Do I want serviceable on an 11-game slate? Like 13, 7, and 3, 32 minutes last game. It's good. It's not great. You're going to get that on a game-to-game basis with him. You're not going to be thrilled with any lineup that ends with him. He's like your last piece in. It just feels like he's overprojected. I mean, the last time he eclipsed 30 in a game was November. I know he's only played like 5 games since then.
He should be like 4,300.
Yeah, the fact that he's projecting the highest value, I'm just shocked by that. But like during his minutes, kind of below 30, right? We were seeing 40 minutes from him in November, and then since we've kind of seen him get capped at like 29, 30 minutes. So it's just kind of gross on Duren. 7,500 is a little bit cheap, especially if AD were to be out. I mean, you see the big man situation in Dallas. I mean, it's Gafford, and that's about it, right? So like Duren could thrive in like short minutes, but in reality, it's Cade and Ivey for me as the main 2 guys. And just because Cade, on any a given basis, he's a guy who can pop off for 60, and honestly, he's usually under-owned too. So I like playing Cade no matter the matchup, especially if AD's out too. Like you could easily game stack this one a small bit.
Yeah, most of Duren's low minutes recently. So last game, blowout, removed early. 3 games ago and 4 games ago when he played 27, 26 minutes in foul trouble in both of those. And then kind of sandwich in there 33 minutes, 32 minutes, 31 minutes. So I'm maybe not as pessimistic on Duren's minutes as you are. They're not guaranteed, but I think he could push 33, 34 minutes here if things break right for him. So I really like the matchup for him, and I like pairing him with Cade too. Get those lob dunks. I think they've got a good, nice correlation against specifically how this Dallas defense sets up. Let's go to the Lakers and the Jazz. This one in Utah. Very high total for this game, sitting at 242.5. Lakers favored by 9. Lakers will be without 2 key pieces, DeAndre Ayton and Austin Reeves. Should be the Luka plus LeBron show tonight in Utah. And then the Jazz will be without Lauri Markkanen, ruled out early today. Should be pretty much healthy beyond that. But this is another good one, Rubio. I think you got to look at some Lakers here. I haven't played much LeBron, but I got some interest in a Luka plus LeBron pairing in this specific matchup and slate. What are you doing with the Lakers and the Jazz here?
Great game, right? Probably the best game individually to target. And the Lakers last game, without Reeves, they almost blew a huge 20-point lead in that fourth quarter. But you saw LeBron kind of step up. What was it, a 26, 4, and 3? And honestly, they lost a lot on the table 4 and 2. He's still dishing it, but when he's in the game, I feel like he pouts a little bit. Well, I mean, obviously he pouts. It's LeBron James, but he watches Luka dribble and go stands in the corner and is disengaged from the play, and you're like, come on, you're not even going to attempt to do anything on this play. He does it 4 straight possessions in a row. It's just when Luka's in the game, it just feels like LeBron's just another guy. Honest to God, and I feel maybe he's just conceded Luka is just way better than him or something. It just feels weird, that whole situation and dynamic. I honestly don't know if LeBron and Luka really like each other at all. I wouldn't even go out to say that they definitely don't like each other, because Luka seems way closer to Reeves, and I think LeBron doesn't really want to be there and hates being the 3rd best player on the offensive end. And I feel disengaged with LeBron at 9K. I just feel it's kind of gross, but the ownership is low, right? For a guy who is going to be clear second option tonight and going against a Jazz team that could easily concede. What's their team total? 126. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you could easily have both LeBron and Luka get there. And every minute that Luka's not out there, LeBron is leading the show. Whether it's, if Luka plays, 36 minutes, LeBron's still got 12 minutes by himself, right? So, I mean, look, Hayes too, without Ayton. The thing is, we know that minute situation at the center spot could be weird. You could definitely see LeBron run a little bit at the 5 tonight, which could definitely increase his upside. Not that LeBron loves to run at the 5, but when the other guy going against you is Kyle Filipowski, I love Filipowski, do not get me wrong at all. or Nurkic for the most part. Like, you know, there's going to be times where Filipowski's like the guy at the 5, and I could easily see the Lakers doing something funky tonight. But Hayes, even at 20 minutes, would be a good click at 3,500. It is center only, though. What does Saber have his minutes at? 26, which I think is a little aggressive, but he'll definitely be one of the better value plays. Like Smart last game, too. Yeah, 32 minutes. You know he's going to get open threes. He's probably going to shoot the ball. You know, you would assume 8 times wide open. I mean, it's kind of similar to the Rui thing, but they're both kind of priced about the same. Smart's going to be a little bit more involved with the stocks a little bit. So yeah, they're okay plays. Like Laravia is the only guy where, you know, 3,900 just seems like a little bit. You flip it over to the Jazz DC, and again, this game's great, right? So I don't want to like undersell it, but like Sensible has been starting. You know, it's a fine play at 3,800. Nothing to get like too excited about. But with no Laurie, all right, it's like Laurie being out, it's like the biggest news here. Talk about a guy who's like always been underprojected. It's been Laurie, and now you get Filipowski, who should start for him in his place. And I just, you know, I have gushed over Filipowski every single time. He's just incredibly improved his game. He is a good NBA basketball player as of now, and every time he's been chalk, he's paid off. Like, you know, you go back 38 minutes against the Mavs, 25-9, shot 9 of 13, 50% from downtown, you know, 2 for 4. Then you flip it over to 36 minutes. Like whenever he gets minutes, you know, he's my favorite player, probably on the slate, but it'll be pretty chalky. Keontae George crushes against the Lakers. I think the last time they played the Lakers, he had like a 60 piece. So Collier's been decent too. Like the Jazz, it's tough to not get excited about any one of those guys, honestly. And Nurkic is probably the guy where, you know, 6,100 is probably just a little bit too steep. But other than that, I mean, Bailey, Collier, George, Filipowski, Sensible, all those guys are great on the Jazz tonight.
I'm with you. Awesome game. Definitely going to be on the Lakers side and maybe some Jazz too. You mentioned, you know, I think Sensible is interesting. Filipowski. I don't mind Keontae George, potential ceiling game. Even Ace Bailey, I think, looks okay at a cheaper price point here. So I'm definitely in on Lakers and Jazz. I think maybe my second favorite game overall on the slate after the Miami game, which I like a ton. But let's get to, and the Knicks game, of course. Let's get to the last 2 games, Orlando and Denver. Up first, this one in Denver. Nuggets favored by 7, 236 total. Orlando going to be without Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner, so 2 of their most important pieces there. We should see Anthony Black in the starting lineup for Suggs. I'm guessing he'll be a popular play tonight. And then on the Denver side, we'll be without Christian Braun. We'll be without Aaron Gordon, Hardaway, and Peyton Watson, questionable to play in this one. So are waiting on some news on the Denver side of the ball. Obviously, the singular force that is Nikola Jokic, always a good play, including tonight. Talk to us, Rubio, Magic and Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, the Peyton Watson thing fell on his ass last game, ended up not playing the last 42 minutes of the game. I think he only played like 6 minutes last time out. Tim Hardaway got the start over him, or for him in the second half. If Peyton Watson were to miss, you would assume same thing. Hardaway steps up, would start. You could easily see a nice little sneaky spot is Bruce Brown, right? Played incredible last game too. I think he had like 8 rebounds or something against the Nuggets there. The game went to OT, so don't want to get too involved in minutes, but you know, played 27 minutes last game, 26 minutes the game before. You know, he's going to be one of their main ball handlers when he is out there, even with Jamal Murray out there too, because he's got 11 dimes the last 2 games combined. So if one of those 2 were to miss, Bruce Brown would be the sneaky guy. If only Peyton Watson were to miss, Tim Hardaway would be a great value click at 4,400. Spencer Jones is, you know, wide open. Like you talk about a guy where it's like Jordan Walsh light, where Jordan Walsh has been making every single shot that he puts up, and it kills me every single slate that he's on because like,
I never
how is 6 of 6 from downtown sustainable? But he keeps doing it. Like all half his shots are from deep. He's making every single one. But yeah, 41 minutes for Spencer Jones last game. If Peyton Watson were to miss, you could easily see, you know, just incredibly high minutes for him where he was at the mid-20s for 24, 25, 22, then 41 last game. A little bit of that had to do with Peyton Watson, obviously. And that's with Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway both playing pretty well. Like Hardaway drew the foul to send the game to OT even. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's a really thin rotation. Like DC, like last game, 5 guys played 40 minutes or more. Overtime helps, right? So, you know, 38 minutes is kind of the barometer if you really want to kind of break it down, or 36 minutes. But Cam Johnson, Jones, Jokic, Murray, and Hardaway all played 40-plus minutes. All those guys are in play just purely off the fact that 36 minutes feels like the floor if one of Watson or Hardaway miss. If Hardaway misses, you would assume that those minutes would just go to Peyton Watson, right? So, yeah, I mean, Bruce Brown got 27 minutes, Zeke Naji 9, Jonas Valanciunas 14. But they're not playing Tyson. They don't really want to play Jalen Pickett. They don't really want to play Julian Strawther. Like, yeah, so the Nuggets are honestly pretty good clicks. And I love clicking Jokic, but I know it's a gross spot. But their offense is just so good. And without Suggs, who's their best defender too, it just matters about the pace in this game. And
why do you think it's a gross spot for Jokic?
Just not for Jokic, but for the Nuggets in general, where it's just like it's the Orlando matchup, right? Where it's just
they're favored by 7 with a 236 total.
You're exactly right though. So they'll dictate the pace too. I mean, how many times have we seen Jokic where he dribbles out like 10 seconds of the clock, but without letting the shot clock move and stuff? He's incredibly savvy. But the Suggs thing, can we talk about how big of a hero he is, being mega chalk in the NBA Cup and gutting it out for the people? Like,
I needed that too.
Yeah. What a guy. Now he's out, right? That's the toughness that people talk about, right?
He was clearly playing less than 100% with like the little groin strain too.
He was sitting there limping the whole time. He had a steal where he limped. I'm like, that's it. I mean, that's it. Then all of a sudden he comes back out. I'm like, well, that's a hero right there. Yeah. But with him out, Anthony Black, the ownership feels a little bit too low. I always love me some Anthony Black, 5,900. It might seem a little high, but he loves to shoot too. Like that's been something where Banchero's probably off that minutes limit. I could easily see myself playing Black or Banchero. Wendell Carter's minutes are so consistently up there now, right? Like you mentioned this. I think we did a show a month ago, but Wendell Carter's minutes were already high then. While they've stayed high, even with Goga playing decent off the bench. You're a Tristan Da Silva hater. You don't really love his game. He sucked the last game. I wasn't against it.
No, he just sucks in general. It's not surprising.
It was horrible. But I think the price on him is just like it's middling. But without Suggs, some of these guys are going to get a bump.
You can set your lineup with Da Silva and Bogdanovic and see how it goes.
Yeah, get the Serbian and the German in the lineup. Play Jokic and just go full European tonight. The 5 best players in basketball, none of them are American. I mean, that's the crazier part. But
SBA, who's Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I included him in that 5th, right? I included him Canadian, right? Maybe the top 6. No, but yeah, I mean, look, Black, Carter, Banchero, all good plays. Bane's kind of on that fringe side at 8,100, but you could easily see a small boost without Suggs, and then Da Silva in that same second tier.
All right, Rubio, last game of the night, Golden State and Phoenix. Expected to be close. Golden State favored by 1, 230 total. Warriors will be mostly healthy in this one. They're missing really not much. Al Horford going to be out for another week or so, but not a big deal there. And then Phoenix will have Devin Booker playing in this game, waiting on Grayson Allen, right? I believe he's questionable.
Yep.
Yeah, questionable to play. I bet he'll be in there, is my guess on Grayson Allen. Expected to be close. Tightest spread of the slate. Warriors, Suns. What do you got for us, Rubio?
Yeah, this is a middling game, right? Like we kind of gushed about, that Nuggets game a little bit, right? We gushed about the Lakers and Jazz. We talked about the Mavs and Detroit, right? Those were good games. This one's the worst of the late games. And you just got nothing to really get excited about. The Warriors finally back to full health, right? Like that's the big thing. Like Pat Spencer, how could you leave out Pat Spencer when you're talking about the injuries? Missing out in this one. Lacrosse legend. But Quentin Post is going to start tonight, but 5,300, just way too tall of a tag. You got Draymond Green at 6,600. Like they're priced as if like one of Draymond or Jimmy and Steph is going to miss, right? And so you lead to all these like inflated tags. No one on the Warriors is going to catch my eye. Like the Pods projection. If you talk about a guy who's been given the cold shoulder by Steve Kerr, I mean, it's Pods, where he usually plays, without Spencer, right? He's been good, but all of a sudden, like in recent games, he got like 23 minutes while Spencer starts over him. Last game was like the first time that he got north of 30 minutes in a long bit. That was even the game that I think Curry dropped 48. Pods being the guy who projects the best value wise, I'm out on that, a sub 6K range. So yeah, I mean, outside of Curry, I don't think I'm going to have a Warrior. You flip it over to the Phoenix side. Mark Williams is good. The minutes are just slightly concerning, right? Like on a game-to-game basis, Mark Williams is got the 40-point upside, right? 29 minutes last game is like huge. If you give me 29 minutes tonight, I would take it. 26-1-3. Like, that's pretty impressive against the Lakers there. 9 of 10 shooting too. So you're getting all those dunks. Game before that, only played 19 minutes, sucked in them against OKC. And then the game before that, you got Minnesota, 22-7-3. So I think if there's anyone who's got 40-point upside other than Booker, it's Mark Williams. And I will definitely be playing me some Mark Williams tonight. Devin Booker, you just kind of get into this path where if Grayson Allen were to miss, I think it would bump up Booker just a little bit, right? Where, Allen's been one of the better guys every single game for the most part, where when he's been in, like when he dropped 43 real the other, just a few weeks ago. And last game, Booker plays 27, 7 and 6 and 31 minutes. The question is he off that minutes limit? It might seem like it's not a minutes limit at 31, but when he was playing 39 and 35 minutes a game before, a couple weeks before his injury, right? You're still seeing a slight limit on Booker. So yeah, it's a gross game. I think Mark Williams and Curry would be the only two that I really have a main interest in. And even Booker, I just think with that minutes, they might not say it's a minutes limit, but I think he's kind of on a soft one right now, where I'd be shocked if he got more than 35 minutes, but he would make that fringe second tier. And maybe I would throw Grayson Allen in out of respect if he was in that second tier.
All right. Yeah, I agree with all that. Makes a ton of sense. And that does wrap up all 11 games on this huge slate. Appreciate everybody watching. Hit the like button if you haven't yet done so. That does help us out. Check out Run Pure Sports for all your DFS and betting needs. You can use promo code RPS15 for that. We got everything you need. We'll be in the Discord breaking it all down. Someone asked earlier if you were drinking a Michelob Ultra, Rubio, which I feel very confident you are not doing, but can you confirm for other people what you're drinking over there?
I didn't want to disappoint our guy Christopher, but it's not. It's a bubbler. It's just an energy drink with like no sugar or something like that. Yeah, 0 sugar. Yeah, I just I didn't want to disappoint him. I saw that earlier, and I was like,
if we rewind the clock about a year and a couple months, it could have been me drinking a Michelob Ultra here in the mid-afternoon show, but not today.
You would definitely be doing the zero sugar energy drink for sure.
I got my water. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But I had to ask. It was a funny question. Rubio, we're going to get out of here, but first, give me your favorite play of the day tonight.
Oh, man. There's a lot of guys who I think we're going to be interested in. I don't want to give away a Nick because that's the first game of the day. Everyone's going to have this starting lineup.
No Nicks allowed.
Yeah. That's something I don't want to cheat on and just go like, the easy route, but we'll have all the news for that one. Honestly, I'm going through it. I love him. I love his game. I think I'm going to give away 2 just for, the sake of it. But with Laurie out, Filipowski's my guy. He'll be pretty chalk, right? But Filipowski's just been an absolute monster on a game-to-game basis. He's just, really taking a leap this year. Love everything about him. Just 5,700 is too cheap. And then give me another additional bonus one, and it's news dependent. But if Davis misses, even if Davis is in, I could be having a lot of Cooper Flag. He's figured it out. And I think you're only going to see performances where, he attempts 50 on a night-to-night basis. And, I think 7.5 is still a little bit too cheap. I think he'll be 8K consistently over the next few months. And yeah, Cooper Flag, especially if AD gets rolled out, his ownership will go up. But I don't think he'll be owned if AD's in. And he's going to be my guy. And every single slate, I'll have a lot of Cooper Flag.
Since you gave 2, I'll give 2 as well. Come from the same team. Bam Adebayo, I think, is going to be the hub for the Heat in this game against Brooklyn. Love the matchup for him. And Jaime Jaquez, he'll come off the bench, but absolutely love playing him with no Tyler Hero. I think he's in for a big game as well. People want an anti-play of the day. I'll let you think for a second. Easy one for me. Bogdan Bogdanović, anti-play of the day. Easy call. No chance to hurt you on someone else's lineup. So fade with confidence. Rubio, give me an anti-play of the day.
Oh, God, it's got to be Tobias Harris. Projecting for 13% right now. We're definitely not clicking Tobias Harris at chalk.
pour one out for our guy, Travis Mangone, who absolutely loves Tobias Harris. I miss Mangone, but I don't miss having to hear about Tobias Harris every slate. So that's good at least. that'll do it for this show. Appreciate everybody watching. For members, I'll be back with JSU at the Up to Lock show tomorrow at 6 Eastern time. I'm sure we'll see a bunch of you guys there. Before this show, that's a wrap for Rubio Dimes. I am Draft Cheat. We're out of here.